Welcome to the free 10-day portion of the Camera Ready Body program. I'm so glad you dropped by because we've got something exciting to show you here. Our 10-day rapid weight loss program for people who aren't going to the gym or have never been to the gym, or if you're just getting started again. This program is something else, and if you want to jump right into it without listening to the spiel on the background of this whole thing, feel free to sign up with your name and email in the little box below this video. If you're watching the video on social media somewhere, then click the link in the description, which will take you to the page, and you can sign up right there. So, for the rest of you that want to hear a little bit more about what this program's all about, let's get into some details on what's behind all this. Some of you will know that prior to my days in film and television, I was a competitive bodybuilder. And in that world, I worked my way up to second place at the national level as a junior. I went on to win a number of state or provincial competitions and regional, national competitions as well. Gradually, I started realizing that the sport of bodybuilding was making bodies too big to really fit the screen or the kind of acting work that I wanted to do. However, there were a lot of interesting tips and techniques that we would use to get ourselves in shape rapidly for photo shoots or even for getting on stage. There were sudden, rapid changes that could be made to take a person from a certain body weight and suddenly drop 10 pounds to be able to make weight the next day or for the next week. Sometimes those drops were as high as 20 pounds. Now, that's not really typically the best way to approach long-term weight loss, but sometimes these techniques had a lot to do with the amount of sodium we were taking in and changes that we were making in the body that were quite rapid and sudden. Now, one of the things I began to realize is that a lot of these little techniques we used were things that could become quite effective for getting ready for things in the film and television industry as I started getting more deeply entrenched in trying to get ready for different roles. Sometimes I would have to put on weight really quickly, or sometimes I would need to lean down really fast because I hadn't been doing my training as intensely when I wasn't doing the bodybuilding work and there maybe wasn't a television show or film to get ready for, and then suddenly an agent calls and boom, you've got to lose a few pounds fairly quickly and tighten up for camera. And what I referenced often were these little techniques that we would use to get a very rapid result in a very short period of time. In fact, they tended to work best when I hadn't been working out at all for a while and had been on a bit of a hiatus and then suddenly had to make some rapid changes to get myself in healthy and good shape quickly. So what I wanted to do after a while, I started realizing there's a lot of people out there in the film industry, but not only the film industry, just the average individual who needs to get camera ready. Maybe it's a wedding, maybe it's a family event, but those things can sometimes come up rather unexpectedly, especially if you're an invited guest, let's say, for example, and you've got to be ready for family photos or collective group photos, and there's not a lot of time. There are techniques, and these are the things I began to realize that could be shared with people in these situations. And that's exactly what I did. I started looking at some of the things we can do when your body hasn't already been used to training and used to being in a position where it's tightening down, where you can get a rapid result. That's what the Camera Ready Body really helps people with. So if you're someone that hasn't been training or maybe has never trained before, never dieted, or isn't in the best shape right now, the interesting thing is that this program could be exactly what you need to dial in to a healthier weight very quickly. It's a great launch point for what will eventually become a bigger and longer program, but that'll be up for you to decide later. For now, I want to focus on the free 10-day rapid weight loss program that you're about to dive into. Look, sometimes months or even years can go by when you're not doing much to keep yourself on the best track in terms of staying lean and healthy and engaged in physical activity. And then suddenly something comes up and you're wishing there was some way that you could pull it all back together again fairly quickly. But the truth is, there are some things you can do that will make rapid and radical changes fairly quickly, especially in those initial stages if you haven't been doing much at all for a long time or even maybe ever. In fact, using a technique that I use, which involves initially using a lot of water intake and a few small dietary adjustments that aren't hard to apply, especially over a short 10-day window, which is when you're going to really see this impact happen. I've seen guys lose as much as 36 pounds in 10 days. Now, granted, that's not the typical situation. Someone in that situation has built up a lot of toxins and they're going from a pretty extreme situation to dialing in, and that's a lot of water weight lost. But other people who are in a more sort of typical situation have lost 10, 12, even 20, 25 pounds in that 10-day window. So I want to give this to you, and this is typically part of a 12-week Camera Ready Body program that's valued at about $2,000. And this first initial launch 10-day portion usually has a value attached to it of about $500 worth of that $2,000. But I want you to have it for free because I want you to see how incredibly effective it is when you just apply one simple technique like this to your life for a very short 10-day window, and how much you can accomplish in such a short time frame. Now, initially, I was going to charge for this 10-day program because when I first ran the beta tests, I was seeing amazing results from a very simple technique that a lot of people just didn't know about. But because it is so simple, and because anybody can really benefit from this, especially if they haven't been training or have never trained before, I wanted to make this available to everyone, to give it a try and see just how effective the Camera Ready Body techniques are. And there are more techniques to this because this program extends out into a 12-week program. Now, I'm only going to be working with 10 people on the extended part of the program, which comes after the 10 days. So it'll be first come, first serve on that basis. But for now, let's focus for you on the 10-day free program where you'll see some pretty dramatic results, especially, as I say, if you're someone who's just starting out. Okay. First things first, whether or not you move into the 12-week phase of the program or not, I want to see how everyone does on this free 10-day phase of the program. Tell anyone you like about it. Let's get it out there. It doesn't cost anything, and the process is very simple. We'll see if you're ready to tackle being part of the group of 10 or not once we move forward from there. So to find out about these amazing, simple transformation secrets that you can apply over a 10-day, maybe 12-day window if we include a little bit of prep time, all I need you to do is sign up with your name and email below this video, or as I mentioned before, click the link in the description, go there, sign in with your name and email, where we can begin sending you the PDFs that will be part of this program. They're very simple, once-a-day instructions, and you can apply these and they build on one another over the 10-day period. So give it a shot. Welcome to the program. I'm looking forward and excited to be working with you. I'll also be sending you links to groups that you can join, or a group that you can join where I can post updates, maybe a few more videos as well. You can interact and ask questions there as well with other members. So you've got nothing to lose. Just sign up with your name and email and we'll begin sending you the PDFs. I'm not going to be asking you for any upfront payments or credit card information or anything like that. I want you to completely enjoy engaging in this program free and clear, and then you can decide and see how it is you react and whether or not you want to continue into the 12-week phase of the program. So once you get your name and email in there, hit the send button and I'll be talking to you on the other side.